Like I said, CRUZ is a good fighter. I mean, really no disrespect by saying he's a C-class fighter. Really wasn't towards him. It was more towards Tank, because I've been calling him out for I don't know how long. But to me, I honestly feel it's more of a B-level fighter, but B-level fighter in a smaller weight class. He's a C-level fighter in 135. I'll stand by that. He's pretty small. I'm not saying that he's not good enough to compete. I just feel like he's maybe too small for the weight. But we're going to see. He said he's going to beat me up. He said he's going to dog me and walk me down and put that pressure on me. Well, it's all I've been, it's all I fought my whole life. Pressure fighters come forward and try to dog me. So we're just going to have to see.
Alright, now, for those that don't recognize this is Ryan Garcia talking. I want to say after the Tagu fight, after he made his return, and he was being somewhat polite, but it got a little ugly a little later, especially in other interviews, him talking about about Isaac Ryan showing out, about Isaac CRUZ. And their little feud heated up real quick after this. It seemed like both men wanted to fight each other, but for some reason, it just never happened. Some people believe it was because Team Garcia didn't want it. Other people believe that Team CRUZ didn't want it. You have rumors that Team CRUZ sent contracts. You have rumors that said Team Garcia sent contracts. So it's really hard to say who ducked who. And sometimes it's about scheduling. Sometimes it's about already having opponents lined up. So you never know why it played out the way it did. But clearly, Isaac Pitbull CRUZ did not forget about what Ryan said about him being a Class C fighter, because he took to Instagram today and he responded to Ryan Garcia and his loss to Tank Davis. And not only him losing, because let's remember, Ryan was out to taunt Tank Davis for going the distance with Isaac CRUZ claiming he's a C fighter. Well, here's what Pitbull had to say. Now, I don't speak Spanish, but from what it translated out to, it says, "Hey Ryan, if I'm a C-class fighter, then what class are you from Z?" Now, let's think about this. A lot of people was like, well, hold up, maybe Tank isn't as good as we thought he was, because he couldn't get this little guy out of here. Now, for those of us who actually knew who Isaac CRUZ was, it wasn't much of a shock that Tank was having trouble with him, especially considering Tank actually had to fight somebody that's shorter than him, who was able to get underneath him and show him angles he just wasn't used to. So he boxed the guy. Now, with that being said, Ryan put a lot of joking and clowning into that, and it offended Isaac CRUZ, and as it should have, because you're talking about a guy in some people's standing is a top 5 fighter at 135. And in some standings, he was ahead of Ryan even before Ryan lost to Tank Davis. So now that you actually can compare, and by the way, triangle theories don't mean anything in boxing, but people do it anyway. And with that being said, if you're going to go off of a triangle theory, he looked way better against Tank than Ryan did. It ain't even close. Matter of fact, hey, let's be honest. Tank sort of, okay, yeah, he was my toughest fight, especially going into it. But after seeing the fight, do you really believe that? I mean, me personally, I would say the Mario Barrios fight was tougher. I would say the Leo Santa Cruz fight was tougher. The Isaac CRUZ fight was tougher. Heck, you can even argue Rolly was tougher. I would even say his first title fight against Jose Pedraza. So, I mean, that Ryan has to eat a little crow with that loss against Tank Davidson, not just because of the loss to Tank, but also because some of the people he compared himself to, you know, and all of this about not wanting a belt and a belt don't mean anything. Yeah, it actually does, man. It actually does. It verifies you. It let people know that at the very least you accomplished something. Because see, here's the thing. In my opinion, Ryan Garcia, and a lot of people might be like, "Fight Doctor, you tripping a little bit on this one." But I said this in previous videos. In my opinion, on paper, Ryan Garcia did nothing to earn that Tank Davis fight. Not a thing. He hadn't beaten anybody that will be considered, in my opinion anyway, a top 10 fighter at 135. Not one. Tagu definitely wasn't one. And for those that say, well, hold up, Doc, what about good old 2 Live Crew Luke Campbell? What about Uncle Luke? Nah, buddy. Luke was a great Olympian, give him that. 2-time contender, give him that. But that's all he was. At the time that he fought Ryan Garcia, he was coming off of a loss against Lomachenko and hadn't fought in about a year and a half. So it's nowhere in the world he was top 10 legitimately anyway. I mean, we know how boxing is, but we're talking about a guy who had lost his last fight and hadn't fought in a year and a half. So, and he's in one of the most loaded divisions in boxing. It's not like the heavyweight division where it's more top heavy. Because people are, what about Wilder? Yeah, well, like I said. Then on top of that, it's not like Luke Campbell was undefeated either. But I think you get my point. My point is, and that's matter of fact, Ryan's second biggest win would be against Javier Fortuna. Somebody, once again, beyond their prime, at least he is a champion, a former champion. I think 2 division at that. But nah. Like I said, in my opinion, I didn't think Ryan had did anything. And that lower weight classes, guys punished Tank for beating somebody in lower weight classes. But that's what he won his titles in. I think featherweight and light featherweight, something like that. But my point is, he fought a Javier Fortuna who couldn't make weight, who in my opinion is way past his prime. And those are his 2 biggest wins. There's nowhere in the world you could tell me he earned a title shot at 135. No way. I'm sorry, he did not. And even for the WBC, they lined him up to face Devin, but who did he really beat for that? Javier Fortuna, who lost to JoJo Diaz. like somebody coming. Well, I think by the time he fought Javier, I think Javier had got a couple wins under his belt from losing to JoJo Diaz. But either way, somebody, in my opinion, Javier Fortuna, who would not crack my top 10 when it comes to the division. Matter of fact, he lost to JoJo Diaz, won a fight against Rafael Hernandez, and then went on, who was somebody who was 32-14-3. Then he got a shot against Ryan Garcia. So if that was a title eliminator, once again, that was a joke. That was a layup set up for Ryan Garcia to move on and possibly get a belt. But as far as his actual accomplishments, like I said, let's see. I'm just gonna run off some of the names real quick. You tell me if you think Ryan Garcia deserved that title. But yeah, Tank Davis lost, Javier Fortuna, Emmanuel Tagu, Luke Campbell, Francisco Fransueca, who ain't a bad fighter, but he ain't a world beat either. Romero Duno, Jose Lopez, Brilio Rodriguez, Carlos Morales. I mean, I could keep going, but the names just gonna get worse, and you're not gonna know none of them. So it's kind of pointless. But my point is, he had done nothing to earn that fight. In my opinion, Ryan is on the level of Rolly Romero as far as accomplishments, and probably where he should be far as a challenger. I think both of them got pushed along a little faster than what they should be. But truth be told, the person Ryan Garcia should be fighting or looking to fight at 135, if he was, would have been Davis. What's his name? Keyshawn Davis. Somebody like that. I can't even say Frank Martin. In my opinion, that would be too hot. Fortunately for Ryan Garcia, he's not staying down at 135, so we probably wouldn't be able to get to see that Isaac Pitbull or Aesop Pitbull CRUZ fight anyway, or Frank Martin fight, or Keyshawn Davis fight. Now that I think about it, but more than likely, as he said, he plans on moving up to 140 in a division that's not as loaded as 135, where he'll have a couple roadblocks up there, but a path to those titles should be a little easier. He'll have to worry about the likes of Teofimo, Rita's Progress, Josh Taylor, and really that's really about it as far as 140. 140 just not stacked, or at least nothing like. Oh, I forgot about Gary Russell, Gary Antoine. But it's just not stacked like 135. But that's pretty much all I got. This Head Busting Boxes on Fight Doctor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think. Is Aesop Pitbull CRUZ right? Should he be rated higher than a Ryan Garcia? If he a C+ fighter, what is Ryan? And I mean, realistically, where would you put Ryan Garcia as far as Tank Davis' toughest fights? I'll say about 5th, maybe 6th. Well, that's my opinion. Give me yours in the comment section. This Head Busting Boxes on Fight Doctor. I am out.